Welcome to the Dose of Good podcast, where we celebrate good people and organizations working to make the world a better place. It can be easy to get caught up in the bad things going on in the world and forget about the good happening all around us each and every day. I'm your host, Erin, and I want to share these stories with you and give them the attention they deserve. I hope this podcast educates and inspires you and maybe even motivates you to share a dose of good in your community. Now let's get into today's episode. On today's episode, my guests are from the Jason R. Flood Memorial. I speak with Doug Flood and Rebecca Solomons. I want to give warning that this episode does touch on the topic of suicide and share with you the National Suicide Hotline, which is 988. Doug started this foundation in his son Jason's memory, and through that, he brings young people together to play music together, find friendship, find community. It's an impactful episode, and I hope that you gain something from it and will check them out, maybe go to one of their performances. I also want to say that I probably look and sound a little bit different for this intro because I am recording it separately, and on the day of the recording, I do not have the best voice. I had something going on with allergies or something, so my voice is not 100%, but luckily I'm not doing most of the talking. So Doug and his wife are doing wonderful things for the youth in the community. So let's learn more about the Jason R. Flood Memorial. Today I have with me Doug Flood and Rebecca Solomons. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And Doug, could you start by telling us about the Jason R. Flood Memorial, kind of how and why it was started and what its mission is?
Sure. It started by chance in the spring of 2017. My son took his life in November, the week of Thanksgiving in 2016. And as we went through the winter and coming to spring, bunch of his friends came to us and they were like, hey, we used to hang out in school and we were going to do this music festival when we all graduated. There's going to be a goof on Woodstock, and we're going to call it Pizza Stock. And we're going to have all these bands and we're going to have pizza. And we want to do that for Jason now. And they realized that they needed insurance and police details and all sorts of things that they didn't count on. So they asked me to get involved, help them do it. And I did, me and my wife did. And, so that's how the first one started. It was pretty successful, and we decided to have another one, and it doubled in 2018. So we started putting the pieces together, realized we were going to continue doing it, that we started putting the pieces together to turn it into an actual nonprofit with, other aspects to it. So it was more than just a once a year event. And we wanted just wanted to give the kids an opportunity to come together and just, express themselves and do what they needed to do and what they wanted to do.
Sure. So just for my understanding, so Pizza Stock is the event that you have each year, which kind of acts like a fundraiser. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So the actual nonprofit is called the Jason R. Flood Memorial. And the music aspect of it is everything goes under the Pizza Stock name.
Okay.
We were hoping, and we were still trying to put an athletic arm to it. We had a track and field event scheduled, and COVID hit, and that kind of all fell apart. And we've been unable to completely put it together. Although last year during a high school track event, we did have a live band playing. At one time, so we're getting close to putting it all together. I hope maybe next summer we might be able to pull together some really crazy, elaborate track and field live concert kind of
that'd
thing.
Be cool.
We got close, and we're not sure what that branch of it will be called, but that's what it is. A pizza stock is more of the entertainment and kids in theater and music, and we're hoping to do an athletic piece to it too someday.
Nice. So, Rebecca, can you tell us a little bit about you, your background, and how you got involved with the organization?
Oh, okay. Well, I've always loved music, and I started to really pick up on it around like 2020. I was sixth grade, so I just entered middle school, and I was doing all these clubs. And I just learned that like I really enjoyed doing music. COVID hit, of course, and everyone was quarantined. But around the time of 2021, I think I must have been like seventh grade. I had a neighbor who also loved music. I used to hear her all the time, like from my backyard, like playing guitar or like drum sets or something. But she was a part of the JRFM, and she found out that I loved doing music, so she was encouraging me to come to one of the open mic nights. And I was super nervous because I'd never done anything like that. As I said, it was quarantine, like everyone was at home, and this was kind of the point in time where people were going back out again, and it was safe to, meet up with others. So I was like, you know what, I'll just do it. Like, I want to hear people sing, and maybe I'll sing myself. So I went, and I just saw everyone there, like, either sitting on couches or, like, ordering coffee. Everyone was just, like, laughing around and playing with each other, and I was like, this is really cool. It just felt like a big friend group, and all my, like, nervousness kind of just, like, eased away. And I'd sang a song, and I'd listened to everyone sing their songs or play their music, and then I was greeted by this girl. She's the lead singer of one of the bands, Cozy Throne, and she has the most amazing hair. I remember her coming up to me and being like, oh my gosh, wow, she looks so cool. But she had told me about Pizza Stock and gave me like the rundown and was like, it would be so awesome if you were like a part of this and if you got into this, because we need a lot more younger people. And I was like, okay, I don't have anything to lose. So I'm pretty sure that's when I met Doug, and I kind of just like picked up on it then.
No, it's crazy. I don't remember that night, but me and my wife Danielle were doing a Dairy Fest. Well, and we had been told about Rebecca through a friend of ours, like her dad's cousin, something, and we kind of forgot about it. And we're sitting there, and she came up and sang the national anthem.
Yeah, I think.
And I looked at Danielle and said, crap. We got to find, and that's when we started talking. That's when we realized there was a connection through a friend of ours. And that's what I remember meeting you, or at least learning about her talent.
Yeah,
and
I don't have the best memory, so I might have messed up a little bit, but
I don't know which came first.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm old. My memory is probably worse than yours, so. But that's what I
scatterbrained.
remember. She sang the Star Spangled Banner. The first time I heard it, I was sold.
Oh, nice. Well, I love how you described it of, you were a little bit nervous to begin with, unsure, and then you kind of walked in and it was such a welcoming, friendly environment. So that's really nice to hear.
Yeah.
Doug, what sorts of resources or education does the memorial provide for, say, parents or youth? I noticed an example would be like parent-to-parent peer groups, or even like possible groups for young people.
So we've tried those, and we did the parent support group for a couple months, but it kind of fizzled.
Okay.
That was also, I can't remember if that was going into COVID or coming out of COVID.
Oh, all right.
What we found is our niche is much better at working with the kids, bringing the kids to an event, a gathering that they are comfortable in, and then bring in professionals, whether it's the Upper Room in Derry or CLM. We work with a lot of organizations like that and get their information, and we try to find the kids become comfortable and they talk to us, and we try to from there, see where's a good direction to send them if they need to.
Okay.
The mental health aspect of it is definitely a big part of what we do, but it's like I said, we're like the very first step. We're more of a let's just get together. Let's just do your thing. Let's see if we can build some confidence and see if we can go from there. We don't actually do any counseling. We don't we don't sell any services, but we try to direct them to what would be, we think, the right resource
Okay.
if they need to, whether it's school guidance counselor or a professional or just another organization to volunteer your time and go hang with other kids and,
Sure.
and work on whatever is your hang up is.
Yeah. So you had mentioned open mic nights. So are those other events separate from like the big pizza stock event that you have throughout the year?
Yeah,
or-
you
Okay.
don't listen to people. Like I do have control, and I don't just do everything. But so there are 2 pizza stock events a year.
Okay.
We do one in the summer, and we've always done one at the Tupelo Music Hall right after Christmas in the winter. But in between those, we get kids to perform at all sorts of events, like in restaurants, bars, other town events, sometimes in parking lots. We just went and bought our own stage, and we can drive it around and open it up, and so we can perform it. We've performed in parking lots before. We've had a stage. We just upgraded it massively. And we haven't had a chance. We were supposed to use it at Derry's Touch-A Truck, but we got rained out.
Yeah.
They had the event, but I panicked on the kids and their equipment and their gear, and I decided to pull the plug.
Yeah.
But so so we do open mics once a month. They're back at the Coffee Factory in Derry the last Friday of every month. You can follow. You always got to check Facebook, make sure that there's no changes. But that's generally when it is. And this Wednesday night we're at a restaurant with 3 kids performing there for their patrons. Sunday we're at another one. Rebecca's going to be performing then.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And if someone's listening and wants to get involved with one of those open mic nights, how do they do that?
I always say the best thing to do is there's an JRFM open mic community page on Facebook, I believe. Jenna and Jake run it. They could always follow the Jason R. Flood Facebook page. That's the most updated. It is on Instagram, which is usually a week behind. And sometimes it's on the website. It's on the website, but like I said, last-minute updates or changes that month are on the Facebook page.
Okay. Good to know.
You can follow that.
Okay. Thank you. Rebecca, how do you feel that music has helped you as you're, growing into an adult and all of that?
Well, honestly, music is just like a way of escaping, and I've always known that I've loved it. Like as a little kid, I used to sing all the time, and my parents were like, maybe she'll be doing this later in life, or maybe she'll just be scaring off the neighbors. I don't know. But no, I just have really enjoyed being a part of this, especially because I'm kind of a shy person. So, it's hard being a musician and being shy, but in this foundation, like, I've met tons of people, and it's always great to, like, meet up to practice and then play someplace like a restaurant or a coffee shop. I met my guitarist, Colin, through Doug. He matched us up, and we've been performing, and it's just been, like, so fun. And, yeah, I just love being a part of this group, really.
That's great. Yeah. So I don't know if you'll want to answer this because I don't know if you'll want me to more defer to the experts, but I didn't know if you have advice for any parents out there who might be concerned about their child or maybe things that they should be looking out for.
Yeah, because this is what me and my wife, I think, are good at, and it's just very casual. Just take this as a conversation. Just take this as we lived. This is what we lived through. This is what we went, and this is what we found. And if you start, don't wait. If your child comes to you and says something, that they'll alert you, believe it. Act on it. The hardest thing was when our son finally opened up to us. It was a scramble to find help, and it's better now. But 8 years ago, there was none. I mean, we knew when we finally got him convinced that he could go talk to someone. We knew the counselor, and it still took over a month to get the first appointment. And that just set everything back. I tell people, if you think something's wrong, it probably is. Without overreacting, act and get the put the pieces in place, because hopefully it'll be diffused and it won't be what you think. But if it is, or if it's just a set, it just calms down, and then when it comes back, you'll be that much closer to getting help.
Mm-hmm.
If you wait till it's a crisis mode, you're already behind.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with people.
Yeah, that's my advice.
Do you have any, I guess we should share what's the date of Pizza Stock this summer, and are there any other events that you'd like to share or highlight and make sure people know about?
July 26th?
I think that's when it is, yeah.
Saturday, okay. July 26th.
This comes out before that, so they'll be able to...
That's our big headliner. That's Pizza Stock. It's our 9th summer event.
Okay.
It's held at Pinkerton Academy up by the football field. It's a Saturday. It starts at noon, but there'll be music like 11:40 all the way to 6 o'clock. We have 2 stages, 13 bands. There'll be a wiffle ball, area set up for wiffle ball, cornhole for teens. There's an area set up for little kids from the Taylor Library. They can do crafts and little games. And there's a yoga fitness area. There's a couple food trucks. We sell, obviously, pizza from Kendall Pond Pizza. And we have raffles, and it's a free event.
Nice.
It's really fun.
Sounds good. So I guess I just wanted to ask you, Rebecca, if you don't mind sharing what you think some of the struggles or difficulties people your age are facing today that maybe, haven't been challenges in the past, or just what sorts of challenges they're facing.
I'd say a lot of people that I know struggle with anxiety and just being depressed or having depression.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, mental health problems have been around forever, but I think it's just becoming an increasing issue.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's great to have outlets like this where you can go and play music, doing something you love with your friends. It just gets you out of the headspace.
Mm-hmm.
But that's at least what I've noticed with friends that I've had, or just being in school.
Mm-hmm.
People have trouble connecting with each other as well. And it's just it's tough being a teenager, but if you have somebody that you can connect with and spend time with, or just an outlet where you can just get out of your own headspace, then it's really helpful.
Yeah, that's good that this organization exists to give that opportunity to kids.
Something that I try to relate to the kids and the adults at the same time is, and she said it well, was these problems have always been there.
Yeah.
I had some of these issues that these kids deal with, I remember as a kid, and I try to explain to them that I might understand a little better than you think if you just open up and tell me what's, troubling you. At the same time, I try to tell the parents these problems are the same, but don't dismiss them. They are different. They have different challenges today than I had when I was being, harassed or bullied or this or that. I had different resources. It was still the same, but it was different.
Yeah.
And I need both of them to understand that. I need the
Yeah.
kids to trust me that when I say I'll understand, talk to me,
Yeah.
I do. But I need the parents to understand that their problems are real,
Right.
and that you want to dismiss them because you dealt with them or whatever. They are different.
Right.
The kids today, it's harder. It legitimately is harder.
Yeah.
And I think it's magnified. I think there's more of it.
Do you think that's attributed to anything in particular, say like social media, phones, or do you think that's just kind of what's perpetuated out
Yeah,
there?
I want to say it's a slight progression from TV, the TV generation to the cable generation to the smartphone generation.
Okay.
I just think each one got a little worse.
Yeah.
They all said TV was going to kill us, and it didn't, but it led to the next couple steps I think are worse.
Right.
I am frustrated trying to figure out this part of it. We're dealing with a generation that is constantly connected, but yet never connect.
Yes.
I think, sorry, I didn't mean
No.
interrupting. I think my experience, people, because we were so like, we were locked away for so long
Yeah.
that I think people are more connected to their phones than other people, or were at least like afraid to connect with other people, even like without phones involved. I think that's just the main issue that, like, people, as I said, anxiety. People are just too anxious to, like,
Yeah.
connect with other people. And I think that's where a lot of problems stem.
Yeah. So they connect, say through text but they don't necessarily know how to interact face to face.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's an issue.
That's big. Not to get sidetracked, I'm gonna.
Oh no, you're fine.
When we started, we were pre-COVID, and that was our goal. Our mission was let's get the kids out of their bedrooms, out of their classrooms, and out of their houses, and sit here and play music. Sit there and physically do something in person, face to face. COVID came, and I thought we were done. I'm like, we had to cancel our pizza stock. We had to, we couldn't do anything because there was no social gathering and stuff. And someone said, hey, all the kids are doing, everything's doing this live streaming stuff. And I was reluctant. I'm like, this is so anti what we're doing.
Yeah.
But through just talking to people, we started doing it. And we ended up, I gave the Facebook page, password to 58 different people over 60 straight nights. And they live streamed music from their living room.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Every night for 60 nights in a row. And that gave us a whole new connection of all these other people and kids. So it's not all negative,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, on a day-to-day basis, it really, like she said, they can communicate text all day, but when they're standing together in front of each other, they don't know
Yeah.
what to say or what to do. And
Yeah.
then they're pulling their phone out and talking
Yeah.
to someone who's not even there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, some of that's wrong and bad, and some of it's just progress.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely lots of challenges because I just think back to even when I was in school, we didn't have social media. We only had like AOL Instant Messenger or something like that. But, at least you could go home and you were home and you could escape the whole school world or
Right.
whatever was going on. And now it's like you can never escape
You
it.
bet.
So.
It's 24/7. When I was bullied, you like you said, I'd go home. We didn't even. Your phone was attached to your wall when I was
Right,
a kid.
yeah.
We didn't have any of that. I went home to the safety of my house and my neighborhood,
Yeah.
and I didn't have to deal with it until I went to school. Now, if they're picked on or bullied, it's 24/7, and if they do something dumb, it's forever
Yeah.
there to
Yeah.
be played over and over and over again, and that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard for kids to deal with.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have to.
Well, it's nice that you've created kind of this community for them to be a part of and meet face to face and, like you said, kind of have that bond over music and everything. So
Music seems to be the universal language.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, I guess, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to make sure people know about the Memorial Foundation or the pizza stock or anything relating to that?
The only thing, I guess, if anyone's listening, we need people to come to the events, not for us adults, but for these kids, that the ultimate adrenaline rush for them as performers is to perform in front of people.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like the foundation's successful. The name's out there. The sponsorship's great. Money's important and all this stuff. But the difference between them getting on stage and playing to 10 family members or 200 or 300 strangers is huge.
Yeah.
And that's why, everyone says they want they want community fun. They want simpler lives. They want, free, we're giving, there are a lot of good, fun community events out there. And they're just all met with inconsistent turnouts, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's all.
You're hoping more people will come out to these events to support the performers.
Correct.
And, give them that feedback and support and all of that.
It just, am I right? It must mean so much more when you look out there and
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
200 or 300 people.
Yeah.
That's cool. If it's 10 to 15, it's still fun. It's still doing its thing, but it's not as fun.
Yeah.
It's not even just about like support for us. That is like a great feeling, like, oh, everyone wanted to come see us, but also like just having people join in on the fun. Like
Yeah.
having people enjoy the music that we give out. Like that's why we do it. So might as well have people come along,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is funny. The biggest response, the hardest sell to people, whether it's in the business world or adults, to get them to come, is the bulk of our musicians are high school and college age. And that comes with a false perception of not a lot of talent or just a lot of screaming or a lot of noise.
Oh, yeah.
But 95% of the time, people will find me, pull me, and say, "Oh crap, this is not what I expected."
Yeah.
We've had legitimate industry judges for our Battle of the Bands at the Tupelo Music Hall, and every one of them has come up to me after and said, "When you said we were judging a high school Battle of the Band, this is not what I expected.
Wow.
This is." They play a restaurant, and the owner will come up to me and say, "Yeah, how many more times can you come?"
Oh, that's awesome.
It may take a year to get in there, but once they're there, they're like, "Oh, can you come back?"
Yeah.
And it's just getting people convinced of that.
Well, I'm glad you shared that, because that's important for people to know that not only can they go out and get a night's entertainment, but it's going to be very high quality entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I've never been let down.
Yeah.
Never been
You're
let
making
down.
me want to go, that's for sure.
Well, see,
Would you have anything you want to tell people, like if they're thinking about maybe either checking out an event or wanting to participate in an event, but maybe are feeling those nerves or unsure? What would you tell them?
I always feel nervous about everything, and I procrastinate literally everything, like even things that I want to do. Just don't. Like, just don't overthink it. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing horrible that's going to come out of, trying a new experience.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, but not with this at least. But just like, you got to get out of your comfort zone sometimes and just join us. Like, if you want to play music, come play music. If you want to sing, come sing. Like, it's just amazing to be a part of, and it'll definitely benefit you. So, yeah. Come to an event or be a part of this foundation. Like, just go for it.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, because I totally agree with that idea of sometimes pushing past your comfort zone and doing things that maybe do make you a little bit uncomfortable, because oftentimes you feel so good once you've done it, and you just want to continue, and you also show yourself that you can do it and that it's not as scary as you might make it out to be.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah. Well, then I just have 2 final questions that I like to ask everybody that comes on. You can both feel free to answer, but basically, I like to find out who you would recommend that we have on the podcast in the future, whether that be a nonprofit or maybe an individual in their community that's doing great things.
The organization I would think of would be Brenda Guggenberg from the Upper Room in Derry.
Okay.
She is like my inspiration for where I want to be as a human, helping the community. She is just so inspiring to talk to. She's so positive, so engaging. So that's who. Like I said, I'm just a regular Joe, just doing rock shows because talking to 14-year-olds because I'm on the same wavelength brain cells as they are. What she does is amazing. That's probably who I would try to talk to.
All right. Yeah, I've had Upper Room on my list and just haven't exactly known how to get into contact with them. So I will.
I can hook you up with Brenda.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, because I'd love to have them on because I know they're doing a lot of great things in a wide area of areas. So, yeah. And then the last question is, what does kindness mean to you? And can you share an example of kindness that you've maybe experienced or witnessed?
Well, my dad always has this phrase that kindness is free, and it's just so easy to be kind. Just, you have to push yourself sometimes, but it's worth it in the end if you make, someone's life a little bit better, their day a little bit better at least. Kindness is really important. It's always important, but especially now, I think kindness is important, and just being nice to one another. But that's what I have to say about that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm incredibly grateful to all the parents and their kids that have allowed me and my wife to be part of their lives. Like I said before, we would never, this all happened by chance. Yeah. It's all progressed through just naturally is taking its course. There's no hard plan for what we're doing. And kindness to me is just how all these parents have accepted us. They knew that this was our dream with our son, in a sense, or it was his dream, and we found out about it, unfortunately, after his death. But we want to continue it, and they let us do it with their kids. They let us put together these events. They let us, she let me pair her up with a guitarist and play manager and whatnot. And it's just cool. It's really helped on this journey that we're on. And it gives us a lot of, it challenging, but I think it's the kindness that they've shown us is what's kind of saved me and my wife moving forward.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. And thank you both so much for being here and sharing about the Jason Flood Memorial and Pizza Stock and all that great stuff that you're doing. And I hope that people will hear this and get involved or attend one of the events. And so thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you to Doug and Rebecca for being on the show today and sharing information with us about the Jason R. Flood Memorial and Pizza Stock. And if you are local to Southern New Hampshire, I hope that you will check them out, get involved, participate, go see one of their performances, or you can reach out on their website if you want to donate or get involved in some other way. But they are a wonderful organization doing great things for the youth in our community. And I hope that you will spread the word about them and, like I said, get involved. Thank you for listening. And you know the deal. Follow on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. It only takes a moment. Leave a review on your podcast app so that more people can find the podcast. Share the episode with those you know to get the word out there and share a dose of good in your day. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.